Well done. All good? Good, mate. Hope you've got my good angles then.
I got bad angles. Well, very good afternoon and welcome along to your first My Albion TV live stream of 2023. Yesterday, the Albion senior side booked their place in the draw for the FA Cup fourth round with a resounding 5-1 victory up at Middlesbrough. Incidentally, the draw for that will be coming up very shortly, so we'll let you know who the Seagulls have been drawn against, home or away. This afternoon as well, though, our main attention is on the PL2 for the first time since the beginning of November. While the Seagulls' 12-match unbeaten run across all competitions came to an end in the Premier League Cup defeat to Derby before Christmas, they do have a decent little league unbeaten run on the go. The last PL2 defeat coming in September away to Everton. Today's opponents are that familiar bunch from up in South London. Paddy McCarthy's Crystal Palace have made the relatively short trip down, and Shannon Ruth's side have scores to be settled after the opening day 3-2 defeat away at Selhurst Park. First look at the teams for you then this afternoon. Just 5 starters today who are also in the 11 for the Premier League Cup defeat at home to Derby before Christmas. Turns, Furlong, Afire, Hinchelwood, Perpion and Moran are all back in from the start. Jackson, Samuels, Shishane and Eiffel all drop to the bench. And then 19-year-old Toby Bull is the substitute goalkeeper after Killian Cahill joined Bognor Regis Town at the beginning of the week. Just a couple of changes for Palace. John Kimani Gordon comes in for Dan Imre, and David Ozo is in to replace Killian Phillips centrally in midfield. Phillips having just been sent out on loan to League One Shrewsbury. So today's skippers Jack Wells-Morrison and Jack Spong. Just with the formalities, it looks as though both sides are going to switch for this first half. So Seagulls kicking from right to left as you look at it. And Palace in that familiar red and blue home strip today. Officials today. James Durkin is the man in the middle. He's assisted by Grzegorz Konashevich and Mark Meaton. The fourth official just below the dugouts, below the bottom of your screen today, is Daniel Durso. Well, we know all about the rivalry for the first team, and in the lead up to this one today, James Beadle and Shannon Ruth did mention the edge even to this fixture with the under-21s. A lot of that comes from the coaching staff who have also been involved in this fixture for the first team. So former under-21s boss Andrew Crofts, Gary Dicker assisting Shannon Ruth, and of course Gordon Greer, who's involved with the loan and pathways for a lot of these players. So they'll be wanting to get one over their rivals. It was a 3-2 defeat away at Selhurst Park, like I say. That was the opening day at Selhurst Park as well. So decent ground, decent atmosphere there. And the atmosphere not too bad here so far, which you can probably hear the conditions. You may well also hear throughout the afternoon. In the run-up to kick-off, it's been blowing a gale. Very noisy. The rain fortunately has stopped though, but the wind still to contend with. And this is the first chance for Crystal Palace just to try and get their foot on the ball. It's Brighton who sent it forward early and looking to do so again. There was Andy Moran trying to get involved. Now Perpion is the nuisance. Oh, and that's loose from Palace early on. You know, can Perpion punish them? Instead, it'll fall to Barrington. Well, he just couldn't get his feet in the right. Can sort his feet out. In the end, it was almost like a Panenka from the edge of the area. Doesn't get it right at all. Perpion unselfishly just prods it across to Barrington. You see there, I don't think he wanted to chip it, but maybe his feet just held up in the ground. Seagulls do have a corner though. It was one that Owen Goodman had to tip over. Short it goes. Eventually the cross does come in. Turns was up there. He's under pressure from the Palace centre-half. Sean Green did enough to put off the Wales under-21 captain. So a number of the more senior under-21 players in terms of experience back in the fold today. Cam Perpy on the one there applying the pressure back in. So too the likes of Moran, Turns of Fire, Hinchelwood, all back in from the start. Many of them were away in Dubai for the first team training camps and a couple of friendlies out in Dubai while the World Cup was going on. And the game so far in the opening 3 minutes just under, largely being played in the Palace half. It's out again to Furlong, looks for the give and go. Spong it is who tries to set Barrington away on the near side. This is Rodney, again plenty of blue and white shirts around him. Good work off the ball from Shannon Ruth's side early on. And they'll try to continue boxing them in. Good work from Moran, just gets away from him after initially getting something on it. This now is Jack Hinchelwood. Just gets away from Wells Morrison. And the switch is complete over to Nielsen. Tries to get Perpion going on the near side. Plenty of hustle and bustle from both sides so far. Lots of barges being thrown in. Not too many sliding challenges though, but we are less than 4 minutes into this one. Nielsen into Perpion. As I say, being played out mainly in the Palace half, but still both sides struggling to hang on to it. Now perhaps a chance for Mooney to make strides on this near side. Furlong gets something on it, but it'll fall here to Ola Abadomi. Oh, and it's a really important save. Just needed to get something on that, James Beadle, and he did. Well, as I say, most of the time the ball's been in Palace territory. That's the first foray forward for the visitors. And Beadle, well, he was concentrating, stuck to the task, but it will be the first Palace corner of the afternoon. Ola Adebayomi looking to double his tally there for the season in the PL2. Good intervention from Beadle. Corner comes in. A combination of Ola Adebayomi and Gordon there underneath that one. Header well over James Beadle's goal in the end. Still lurking there, Ola Adebayomi. A fire forward. And Moran does well to buy the foul there. Gets it back from Hinchelwood, then a fire, and then decides to go back to Beadle, probably sensibly, because the press from Palace has been decent since they've been able to move up in the last, well, only a few moments really, but you can see it here again. Sungi drops deep to Beadle's right, but he's able to pick that one up. The wind is going to be a huge factor this afternoon. You can see it in the nets perhaps as well, that it, as it can be. This is David Ozo, just trying to get clear of a couple of blue and white shirts. Brighton do just about enough. As I was saying though, in this first half, the wind definitely in the favour of Crystal Palace. Not enough to stop Spong though, and there is a good amount of space over there for Nielsen. Back to goal there was Perpion. For a moment was looking for the return pass, but Moran takes over. First bit was good, but then showed too much of it to David Omilabu. So a little bit of a scrappy, attritional start here from both sides. In terms of territory gained. First few minutes, certainly in the Palace half, but they've just made a few strides forward in the last few moments. If you're just joining us, one big chance for Palace early on. Coming through Ola Adebayomi after Furlong's slip. Nielsen forced a little bit deeper to help out the fire defensively. Just stumbles. He's able to swing a boot at it though towards Moran. Good defending again over on that far side though from Sean Green, the Ireland under-19. His birthday today, Sean Green as well, so extra little bit of edge for him as well, no doubt, as Beadle just looks to shepherd that one out for the Brighton goal kick. Green, who's only missed one PL2 game so far this season, and that was the reverse of this, the season opener. So a mainstay centrally and defensively for Palace. Nodded back towards the Brighton area. A fire returns the favour. And then just at full stretch, Hinshelwood does well to retain possession. There he is again, good layoff. And it's been a good start to the season for Jack Hinshelwood. He was one of those who made the trip to Dubai with the first team. Was named on the bench in the Premier League against Arsenal on New Year's Day, and he's getting stuck in again there. Good work from Hinshelwood. Always looking up, and down the channel it goes now for Perpion. Perpion into the area he goes. Digs one out towards Barrington. Oh, that's narrowly wide. Well, really good move from start to finish that from the Seagulls. It all started with Hinshelwood breaking up the play and then setting Perpion on his way. A few step overs and on the volley, just trying to direct that into the bottom right corner. Just wide from Barrington. This is Mooney. Skips away from three Brighton players there and towards the edge of the area his ball goes. Turns. Mooney it was closing him down. Did well just to get a pass forward. And out now for the Brighton throw-in. And again, you see the red and blue shirts fly forward to box in the Albion. And again, it's Moran who drops deep to help out and win the free kick. And as I said at the outset, you don't need to worry about switching over to watch the draw for the FA Cup. We will let you know, not all of it, tell you who the Seagulls will be playing in the fourth round, the last weekend of January. This is Barrington now. Down to Perpion. Perpion does well to skip away from a couple of Palace shirts. Unselfishly again plays it over to Nielsen. First time he goes for the side-footed cross back in towards the area. Doesn't get it quite right, but that's a neat touch from Tsungi. The layback isn't so good though, and that's a crunching challenge from Beadle. Well, he blew the whistle straight away, and it's a straight red card for James Beadle. Well, James Durkin was in absolutely no doubt, sprinted to the scene. You could see perhaps both feet there from James Beadle in the air. We'll get a better look at it now. Well, Tsungi sells James Beadle a bit too short here. Ola Adebayomi bearing down on goal, and unfortunately the left boot of James Beadle is just a bit too high. So we will get to see Toby Bull making his PL2 debut, but not in the situation that he would have liked or Shannon Ruth would have liked for his PL2 debut. James Beadle struts off, cuts a disconsolate figure, and understandably, well, he was certainly committed, but, well, a bit too committed from Beadle. Doesn't get that one right, and probably is the right decision. Now we wait to see if the decision was penalty or free kick, because it was right on the edge of the area. I think initially the decision was Free kick, not sure if he's pointing towards the spot or pointing in the direction of a free kick. So it's David Omelabu who has the ball in his hands. Meanwhile, I can tell you that Brighton have been drawn at home in the FA Cup fourth round to Liverpool or Wolves. That's after Liverpool and Wolves played out that 2-2 draw up at Anfield last night. So it could be Liverpool twice in quick succession for the Seagulls. That's who they face next at the Amex next Saturday. But in terms of the PL2, it's a bit of a dilemma here for the Seagulls. James Beadle given his marching orders there for a over-industrious challenge just on the edge of his area. And well, it's good to see that Adi Ola Adabomi is back on his feet. It's a shame for Beadle. He's had a decent enough season. Just finished his first full calendar year with the Albion after signing from Charlton last January. He was another who went out to Dubai, got some experience with the rest of the goalkeepers from the first team. Robert Sanchez, Tom McGill, who's been involved with the first team for some time, another graduate from the Brighton Hove Albion Academy. Well, not too sure exactly what the hold-up here is. I imagine it's the Seagulls waiting for the substitution. I haven't had that confirmed just yet, but you would imagine that Toby Ball will be making his round to the pitch very shortly. Signed for the Seagulls as a 10-year-old from Worthing. Since then, spent a bit of time at his home club on loan. Also spent some of last season on loan at Isthmian side Merstham. And the unfortunate man who has to be sacrificed in this instance is Kasper Nielsen. It's always to forget the man who has to be sacrificed. Of course, it's unfortunate for James Beadle. I'm sure he only had eyes for the ball and just gets it wrong. But also for Kasper Nielsen, who makes way for Toby Ball. Well, been quite the stoppage as we waited for Ball to get ready. I'm not sure if it was Ola Adabomi who was just receiving some extra treatment perhaps off his screen. He got to his feet fairly quickly, but it's the Conor Gallagher lookalike, Fionn Mooney, who's got the ball under his right boot on the studs. Mooney does have a couple of goals to his name so far this season. Only started 3 times in the PL2. That also included his debut in the 5-1 win away at Manchester United. So then, Mooney it is, and the wall does its job. I think it's off the head of the skipper, Jack Spong. Which you might be able to hear there is of Gary Dicker just saying, well done, Spongy.
Watch the edge, Luca! Stay there, Luca!
So still a fair bit of defensive work for Shannon Ruth's side to do here as the corner comes in. Fortunately, from an Albion perspective, that one sails straight out for a Brighton goal kick. And the first touch for Toby Ball.
Andy, central, up top. Luca.
Wide left. Number 9, Andy.
Stretch the game, good. Play behind them, good. Come. Higher, come.
Let's go.
So you'd imagine it would be, with Nielsen making way, it could be just the extra man lost in midfield, or perhaps they'll go to a back three. Ball with the clearance over Barrington's head and out for the throw.
Yes, Andy, good. Yes, come.
Throwing back from Rodney,
Stay central, Andy.
helped on by Balmer.
Stay Jimbo.
And now Green just square across to his
Good, Andy.
centre-back partner. And one would imagine we'll see a fair bit of this now for the remainder of this game. Seagulls forced to back off a little bit more because of the man disadvantage. Try and catch the Eagles rather, on the break.
Stay, Andy, you're all right, Andy. Stay still, Andy. Good.
Wells Morrison, the skipper, with the switch over to that far side. Perpion it is, back there, gets the header on it and loops out for the throw in on that far side. Taken quickly then into Gordon. Gordon looking for Mooney. Mooney, I was about to say just kept it in, but the whistle goes. Ball this time opts to go out right. It really is a challenge into that wind. You can see it's almost going backwards as it's nodded up.
Good.
Moran wins another free kick midway through his own half.
Up. Yes, Luca, higher. Come, higher. Bongy, higher. Leave the space to go into.
So if they can just hang in there, the Seagulls, the longer this game goes on at 0-0, the longer they'll fancy they can nick something.
Catch up.
Barrington, Moran, Perpion still on the pitch. Carry plenty of threat. Offload there from Moran wasn't the best, but that is a better back heel from Perpion, who gets it once more. Then just holds it up, back into a fire. Spong is an option in field. Rolls it back instead now to Sungi. Now turns. This is good from the Seagulls, still pressing forward. Turns. Not the best ball forward, but helped out by Ball. Fortunately, that ball through the middle from Palace had a bit too much on it, so Toby Ball can just take his time here, as he will continue to do throughout the afternoon. Ball just rolls it out and then knocks it long up towards Barrington. And now Moran. Still a pocket of space there for the Ireland under-21 international, and spreads it out to the Australia under-23 international Perpion. Faced up there by Gordon. Plenty of red and blue shirts around him, but that's a clever flick in field to a fire. Then just dinked over by Spong. Can they finish this one off the Seagulls? Just couldn't get the ball down. Challenge is flying in. Fire does well to release Perpion once more. Good build-up play here from the 10 men. Now it's with Furlong with the effort. And that is straight at Owen Goodman. But the move to get there wasn't a bad one from the Seagulls. Down the right-hand side. Simple stuff, passing and moving. Lots of wall passes, and then it fell to Furlong. He'll probably want that one again because he tried to place it and there was no power really. So an easy enough save for Owen Goodman, who in truth hasn't really had that much to do. It was a decent chance for Barrington early on, but he put it wide. If you're just joining us as well, you will have missed an Ola Adamomi chance, and then he was in the thick of it again after being brought down by Beadle. Two-footed challenge, hint of his left boot just being a bit too high and the studs up. So he was given a straight red card by today's referee, James Durkin.
Move in a bit. Yes, Hinch. Goes. Good decision. Go on, Andy. Good.
Furlong forward.
Good you.
Wells Morrison able to play it back to his defensive teammates, and they go all the way back to Goodman.
Don't need to change. Stand still. Stay, Andy. You're all right, Andy.
Seagulls still just trying to stick to their altered shape since the Beadle sending off. They're going to have to be disciplined and patient.
Good, Luca. Stay, Luca. Wait. Stay, Luca. Yes, Luca, this way. Good.
So Palace able to dictate the pace
Luca, excellent.
now and just wait for the right ball forward. That wasn't the right ball forward though. Straight into the arms of Toby Ball and gets it straight back from Ed Turns.
Good and look it.
Decent yardage on that clearance, but not so decent with the accuracy. Straight out for the Palace throw.
Stay there, son, you're all right. Spongy, leave him. Leave him there. Leave him.
Green across now to Bulmer. Once again the Seagulls just back off. Invited forward here. Palace now down the far side there left. Getting involved there was Gordon up against Perpion. Throw in taken quickly into Ola Adabomi. There's Perpion once again at the wrong end of the pitch for him, but happy to do the job for the Seagulls when they need him defensively. Ozo now just putting himself about, just shepherding that ball, and that frees up the space back here. Ball flicked in, and that's a decent looking cross, but the header not so decent, well over Toby Ball's goal. Well, it was a good move this time from Palace down the left. They eventually find some space, the ball in a good one, and the header over, as I say, not so good. So still goalless midway through this first half. Oh, and that's almost an own goal. Toby Ball forced to slide across. Well, we see it time and time again from the Albion. They really trust each other defensively, even when there's a high press from the opponents, to play themselves out of trouble. But they almost played themselves right into trouble. There still could be danger here. Oladabomi, who's been a huge threat so far. And it was the back pass from Spong, which almost led to the Palace opener. But here comes Barrington. Overlapping neatly is Furlong. It will fall to Barrington again. Spong's made his way up to provide some reinforcements.
Get to it!
Yes, Hinch, you need your Hinch.
David, you don't need to stand up on him. Come on, Jacko, you got him. You got him, go on.
The longer they can hold on to the ball here, the better the Seagulls. Just not doing anything too silly there. They could have handed the ball perhaps straight back to Palace, but they just wanted to retain possession. Then the ball goes forward. All the time they're off the ball. They'll be working those legs and forced to chase as they are now. You see trotting back once again Perpion. Does really well on the first occasion to win it back for the moment. This though is Green.
James, tell Antep to take the 9 so Adele can go wide.
So we'll see that chance here again. Sungi into Spong, and the first time ball back was heading for the Seagulls goal, and it forced ball into a sliding intervention. Ball forward there looking towards Omilabu. And Toby Ball forced out of his area, does well just to put it out of play. And he could well be in for a lot of action this afternoon, Toby Ball, since coming on early on after that straight red for James Beadle. He's done everything asked of him so far to retain a clean sheet. If the Seagulls can come away with a clean sheet from this one, they will be thrilled. Turns up against Rodney. Now Tsungi moving left of centre. Ball round the corner. The target was Moran, but stepping in there is Bulmer. That's Mooney, gets it back from Rodney. He's looked lively. So too has Ozo. Good spread of the play out to the edge of the area. Good work from Afire to stop Gordon in his tracks, but it is at the expense of a Crystal Palace corner. And Andy Moran is one of many who's once again forced back to defend this Crystal Palace set piece.
Come in, swinger, come!
It's the captain, Wells Morrison, who will take this with his left boot. And just driven towards the back post. Bulmer's underneath it. It goes over everyone. Tsungi and Bull. And it's the opener for Crystal Palace. Almost unmarked there, Kofi Bulmer. Just took his time, kept his eyes on the ball. Nods it back in the opposite direction. And over Antef Tsungi and Toby Bull. Well, it looks as though Bull gets something on it, but not enough to prevent the South London side from taking the lead just before the half-hour mark. And it could be a very long afternoon now for Shannon Ruth's side. Well, it's his first of the season, the centre-back from Northern Ireland. A full Northern Ireland international, joined from Lana in August. Had a year there after moving from Ballymena. Was also involved with Patrick Vieira's first team during the World Cup in one of their friendlies. The layoff there wasn't a bad one, and they were looking for another decent pass forward towards Furlong, but a bit of frustration starting to creep in just after that goal. Space over there for Ozo, working with Teo Adaramola. The goal scorer Bulmer completes the switch to this near side with Rodney. Wells Morrison will spread it back out over to the left. And the Albion just trudge over, trying to stay in shape. Well, still at 1-0. They are still in the game. Chances are going to be few and far between, but they're just going to have to be even more disciplined than normal. They're not going to be able to have as many forays forward as they normally would. So it's all about the likes of Barrington, Moran and Perpion not getting too frustrated. We've already seen Perpion do a decent enough job defensively, but that's given away by the skipper Spong. Phil Mooney with the ball in, and Bull able to claim unopposed. So a bit of a let-off there for the Albion.
Jeff up, come up, Adele, in, right up, come in. Good.
Ball goes long, drifting out towards the Seagulls' left. An unopposed header for Palace to win there. Flicked on by Ozo, and then just cushioned down by Turns. A good ball forward to Barrington, and Spong just rebounds off the back of his left heel, I think it was there, and that allowed back in Palace. So just a few occasions that Brighton skipper switching off. Can the Seagulls rustle something up offensively though? Moran with the half-volleyed switch over towards Perpion. He's asking a lot of him to control that one there, especially with the wind blowing from left to right as we look at it. And so Perpion couldn't keep it in. Palace throw over on the far side. They will have the advantage of that wind in the second half, Shannon Ruth's side, so it is all about making sure they stay in this game. Going into the second half, 2-0 down, going into half-time. And you do feel as though that could be curtains for Shannon Ruth's side, but here's to hoping I'm wrong. This is a fire now, looking for a response. Good progress from him. It just rebounds back off him, though, for the Palace goal kick. I think he knew it, because there were no real protests from the former Bromley youth player. And this is now where Palace will just try to tempt out the Seagulls if they can, and then open up the spaces. Bulmer across now to Green. Bulmer able to get away from trouble there. And then the ball played forward is towards Omelabu. Ball called into action again. Does well just to at least gain a few yards with that clearance, but it's straight back into Ola Adebayomi. Just a warning there for Tsungi. I thought maybe perhaps James Durkin was reaching for his book, but in the end it's just a spray to mark out where he wants the ball to go. They wanted to take it quickly, Palace, so they are allowed to. Spread over to Adaramola by Wells Morrison. And then into the feet of Ola Adebayomi. But just crowded out there. Good defending from the Seagulls. And that's a better ball forward there from the skipper Spong. Perpion now. Checks back in field, was looking for Hinshelwood. Does really well there, Perpion. A few red and blue shirts around him. Able to stay strong and win the free kick. Hinshelwood sets him away, but looks as though the referee unhappy with that. It's a shame because it was a good run. Plenty of space over there for the former Sydney FC player. So that just allows Palace back into shape. Fire it is over this one. Hinshelwood stayed close by. Turns, plays it forward to Spong. Spong just getting into trouble again. The first move away was a good one, but the second one just couldn't cling on to it. So Palace have it once more. Green out to Adaramola. So 10 minutes to go of this first half. Still that Kofi Bulmer goal that separates the sides. Seagulls going down to 10 men early on because of that James Beadle straight red card. And they may have more damage inflicted on them here. This is Rodney looking to hang it up to the back post and it goes in. Really smart header, just directed towards the bottom left corner. And he's been a nuisance for the Brighton defenders all afternoon, Ola Adebayomi. He gets his rewards, his second of the season. It's a devastating move down the right. The ball is pinpoint accurate and the header down low past Toby Ball. They've doubled their advantage, just had 10 to go in this first half.
Come on!
So a bit of an Everest-like mountain for the Seagulls to climb if they're going to get any points out of this one today. 2-0 down, a man down as well. Tsungi looks to stride out from defence, then falls back. They could have just hung on until half-time at 1-0. You never know. You still never know, really. We've seen some crazy comebacks from the Seagulls. The one that comes to mind, the 4-2 win over West Ham last season. a flurry of goals for the Seagulls, but flurry of goals for the wrong reason. He's doubled his tally this afternoon, and Palace have made it 3 with less than 37 minutes played. It's Ola Adebayomi again.
Andy, we don't go back when we have 11 from a goal kick.
Well, this is going to be peeking from behind the sofa stuff now. That is a top finish into the bottom right corner from Ola Adebayomi. Turns his man inside out, and a really accomplished finish. And the Albion staring down the barrel. Played out from the restart, looking for Barrington. Too much on it for him. And a real test of the Seagulls' temperament and character here to see what they can do in the second half. The game all but gone. 3-0 down, 10 men. They do not want the floodgates to open any more than they already have. And every time they burst forward here, Palace, there is danger. But that's good work from a fire just to gain a few yards. What they also don't want to do is have another man sent off the Seagulls. They just need to try and keep some level of composure going into the second half. That's a good turn away from Barrington. Knew where his man was. And the ball wasn't a bad one to Furlong. Comes off the lower part of his back, shall we say. And the Seagulls do hang on to it. Hinchelwood. Furlong was looking to get Barrington back involved. And again, you can see the body language, understandably perhaps not the best from the Seagulls. They need that break now, just so Shannon Ruth there and Gary Dicker in the bottom left of your screen can put a few arms around some shoulders, words of encouragement. They won't want this to get any worse. That's got to be priority number one. But they still need to see out just over 5 minutes of this first 45. Perpion stepping in over there was the birthday boy Green. Just does the basics to smash it out into the crowd over on that far side. Perpion unhappy. Perpion just thought that challenge was a little bit too robust from Green, and he goes to ground again. He was winning those kind of free kicks earlier on in the game. James Durkin not blowing up for anything in the last few moments though. Good battling there from Antef Tsungi against Ola Adebayomi on the hat-trick. Could be a good little personal tussle there for Antef Tsungi to prevent Ola Adebayomi from getting his hat-trick. Same could be said for Ed Turns.
Keep going, Luca. Keep going, Luca. Inside to get the ball, go on.
Bulmer forward to Ola Adebayomi. Tsungi is there again, trying to stick to his man. Almost man marking him at times. Miles Morrison back into Bulmer, who got the scoring underway just short of the half-hour mark with his header after the corner coming in from Crystal Palace's left. And here come Palace once more. This time it's Omelabu. Into the area goes Mooney. Good work though from Ed Turns, tracking his man, keeping his eyes on the ball. Will be another Crystal Palace corner. Good header away from the Welshman. Only as far as Ozo. Now Adaramola, but thinking about sending it straight back into the danger zone. Bit of swagger now about Crystal Palace's play as we head towards the interval. And they can do that because of the scoreline. 3-0 down the Seagulls. Green looking for the switch to this near side. Furlong does just about enough to get a touch on it. And out for the throw. Wells Morrison back into Bulmer. Good pursuit there though from Andy Moran. Incredibly tough task for him for the rest of the afternoon, but no doubt Perpion, Moran and or Barrington will be substituted at some stage this afternoon. We will wait and see. The only real attacking option they have on the bench is Marcus Ifill, but maybe the wings where they can break out in the second half. That's what Moran will try to do now. Mari Samuels is an obvious option on the left side. Can play over on the right though, Samuels, former Reading player. Now one for Moran to give chase to. Green forced over to the right-hand side. Good work, and that's excellent close control there from Spong. Barrington with the switch over towards Perpion. First time we've seen a good few blue and white shirts flood forward. A fire in field now to Barrington. Skipper Spong with an expert outside of the boot ball to a fire. Ready for the ball in, just clips it in low towards Perpion. Could lay it off to Spong, instead offloads it to Hinshelwood. Good patience here from the 10 men of Brighton. Hinshelwood just about able to get a cross in. And Ozo able to nod it across to a teammate who prevented it from going out for a corner, instead out for the throw-in. Good work though from the Albion to close out this first half. Still able to stay positive. But they may be made to rue. Another sloppy bit of work there to give it away. The shot from distance was always rising.
Come in. Roll inside, Luca. Roll in. Got to roll in. Come, roll in a bit.
And ball goes short. We are into added on time again. Was almost sold short there by Tsungi, but ball does well to make sure. Now then, Perpion. Good progress down that right-hand side. Faced up by Adaramola. Can he get the shot off here, Perpion? Instead leaves it now for Hinshelwood. Spong has a go for goal. Oh, just over. Goodman was sprawling. He thought it was going to dip over him. It did dip, but not quite enough for Jack Spong. Really good way for the Seagulls to finish the first half. Build-up play again is decent. And the shot, superb from Spong. Millimetres over Owen Goodman's bar.
Good, James. Brilliant.
So last few seconds ticking down on this first half. We do have, I say seconds, it could be more like minutes because we did have the long stoppage early on after the James Beadle challenge on Ola Adebayomi. So all added on.
Need to jump in, yeah, good. Yes, go on, Luca. Yes, great, come on.
Good harrying on that far side. The Seagulls did temporarily force back Palace to Owen Goodman. Perpion again, who's worked tirelessly down that right wing for the Seagulls. And he gets it back again. Trying to get away from two Palace players once again. Adaramola and Olibamu over there. Excellent from Perpion. Wins the corner as well. Well, who knows? If the Albion can deliver here with a goal late on in this first half, maybe that miraculous comeback with 10 men could happen in the second half. It would be one for the scrapbooks if the Seagulls can get anything out of this game. Perhaps they can start that comeback here. In it goes by Spong towards the front post. Easily enough away now to Omilabu. Decent turn of pace from David Omilabu. Looking infield, plenty bursting forward inside of him. Laid off to Ozo. He's made a decent run as well. Just forced back by a fire. Adaramola is there now, faced up by Spong. Just tries to jink it past him and get to the byline. Spong does well, no free kick there.
Yes, Hinge.
Turns, goes back across 6-yard box to ball. And again looking for Perpion. Good header from Adaramola. Didn't want to give Perpion the chance.
Luca, roll in the middle of the pitch. Go on, all the way in. Keep going, go on, all the way in. Come on!
Moran, another decent flick infield that was from Perpion, who's made the run forward again. Player of the match from a Brighton point of view. Delivery to the back post is good towards Furlong. Chests it down under his spell, and then the layoff is to Barrington. Furlong with the first time ball, doesn't get it right though. Looked as though it had gone behind. Play goes on. Perpion deserves a goal or a goal involvement here. Just got his head down throughout the first 50 minutes of this one, into a 6th minute of added on time after the James Beadle challenge on Ola Adebayomi, which led to the red card. Fire with the ball in, over Barrington's head, may fall for Furlong. Good work from Gordon, who just switched over to this near side for the moment. And then the afterburners come on up against Barrington, who's quite fleet-footed himself. Good work from Barrington, and then digs out a ball infield to Turns. Magnificent work that from Barrington defensively. And it means that Moran can move over to the right. And it's a good ball into Jack Hinshelwood. Can he apply the finish? Oh, good defending. Second time of asking. Really good work from Jack Hinshelwood, but an even better save at the end of it from Owen Goodman. Well, the Seagulls protest for the challenge on Jack Hinshelwood up against Green. Green it is who gets the block in. Gets another chance at it, Jack Hinshelwood. And then the save is going. It does bring us to the end of this first half. Well, a couple of good chances for the Seagulls there towards the end of the first 45. But the damage so far done in 10 minutes, 3 goals. 2 from Ola Adebayomi, 1 from Bulmer to get us started. A straight red card for James Beadle early on means that at half-time, It's Albion 0, Palace 3.
Sammy, where's Sammy? Right, guys, just like check you both now whilst you're doing that, and then we'll do lovely. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, welcome back to the second half of this My Albion TV live stream as we see a couple of changes there for the Seagulls in this second half. Jack Hinchelwood and James Furlong making way for Sammy Shashane and Imari Samuels. Pair of them there coming on to try and mix things up for the 10 men of the Seagulls after James Beadle giving his marching orders. 12 minutes in. That forced off Casper Nielsen for Toby Ball to come on as the first substitution of the afternoon for Shannon Ruth's side. A rather dismal first half, to put it mildly, for the Albion. 3-0 down because of Kofi Balmer and Adi Ola Adebomi's goals. Ola Adebomi with the brace. Kofi Balmer's opener just before the half hour. All three goals coming in a 10-minute spell for the Seagulls. But there were signs of promise towards the end of that second half. The Seagulls far from throwing in the towel. Decent chance for Spong right at the end. Also for Hinchelwood, double chance. Good save from Owen Goodman. So it would be the comeback of all comebacks for the Albion, but they've already got some defensive work to do. This is Adaramola with the ball across. Oh, straight into the hands of Toby Ball. Well, he did not know all that much about that one ball, but gratefully grasps at it. And a fire it was who just ran into the space now and will offload it to Perpion. He was a live wire throughout the first 45 minutes, but he can't apply a decent cross on that occasion. But the Albion just left a few gaps at the back there for that chance early on in this second half. Unfortunately, Toby Ball was able just to grab onto it. Good work from Adaramola to cut the ball across. Sungi into Shashane, who just tries to help it on towards Moran.
Good boy. Tight, Sammy, tight. Tight, Sammy. Yes, good, Cam.
Even with the 10 men, the Albion do know if they can get one back in the opening 10 minutes of this second half, still the belief in the camp that they can turn this one around. Good work there from the Albion just to win a free kick in a decent position here as well. No surprises that it's Cam Perpion who was at the heart of it. And so it'll be the Seagulls skipper to send this one in. And again, it will work in Jack Spong's favour. The wind blowing in that direction, down that end. You can see Owen Goodman here just trying to organise his one-man wall. Adaramola, it is the unfortunate one to make up that one-man wall. It falls to Spong.
Low.
Just the one goal this season, but he's the set-piece man, as well as being captain. And that delivery was decent. Still not over yet. Overhead kick there coming in. Wildly over in the end.
Brilliant, Spongy. Bit higher, Andy, if you want to start a little bit higher. Good,
Well,
Luca.
it was a great delivery, though, into a dangerous area from Jack Spong.
All right,
That's all
Spongy, you're all right.
that could have been asked of him. So
You can go there.
a bright opening in this second half for the 10 men of Brighton Hove Albion. In goes Perpion to try and
Good car.
force the issue up against Adaramola. Stepping in there is the substitute Shishane. Good work from him. Not so good work though from Afire. Just runs into trouble. The offload is from Ola Adabomi. Now there's a tussle between Adaramola and Afire. That's a good one. Good strength there from Adela Fire. Shishane back there to help. He's been in amongst it early on in this second 45 since being introduced.
Good, Sammy. Yes, Cam, good. Stay, Andy. Leave that. Leave it, Andy.
In credit to Shannon Ruth's side, apart from that one dangerous opening, Palace have tried to just hang on to the ball and wear down the Seagulls.
Cam, higher. Go on.
Just allowing the Seagulls onto them slightly. You can see Moran there, still just lurking on the edge of the area. He's got to preserve some energy, can't just keep sprinting early on because he'll get too leggy as this second half goes on.
Brilliant, Adele.
Perpion back into ball, gets just about enough on it for ball to pull the trigger first time, but again you can see the impact of the wind there from that clearance. Barely touched that one ball, and it's bounced all the way over to his opposite number. I say opposite number, total number 13. It was James Beadle who was the opposite number. He was in the dressing room a lot earlier than he had hoped after that 12th minute challenge on Ola Adabomi. Didn't get that one right, so a straight red card for him. Moran pulls the trigger. That was just drifting wide always. But again, they're finding themselves in decent positions here, the Seagulls, moving it just that little bit quicker than they were for large swathes of that first half. And Paddy McCarthy's Crystal Palace will know they just need to almost allow the Seagulls to do this, try and find some spirit, but another goal or even another spell of 10 or 15 minutes without a goal, and that's really game over. Bulmer able to stride out now, the scorer of Palace's first. This is David Ozo.
Sammy, stand still! Stand still! Good. Luca! Tight, Sammy. Go tight now, Sammy. Sammy, stay there, Sammy.
Adaramola looking down this left channel. Good work again there by Ola Adabomi just to shield it out for the Palace throw. Gets it again there from Adaramola. Flying in there is Adela Fire. Good work from the blue and white shirts there just to surround Crystal Palace. They wanted the throw-in. Decision doesn't go their way. Looks as though it struck the arm there of Gordon. James Durkin was very close by. He saw it strike his arm as well. So Brighton free kick. Decent first-time ball that from Bull, and it had to be in the area again. Plenty of Palace shirts forward there. Barrington shifting in from the left. Good twirl away there from Moran. And now there's a load of space on this near side for Perpion. Goes for the early ball, looking for the substitute Samuels. He'd made the right one, just can't get his toe end on it. Excellent build-up play there from Moran and then Perpion. And the ball is perfectly weighted as well for Samuels. He just can't latch onto it. So it remains Brighton 0, Crystal Palace 3.
In, Cam, in. Till Andy goes, then you go.
But look at the press.
Yes,
It's
Cam.
impressive from
Towards
the
front,
Albion.
Cam.
Down to the 10 men. They know
Yes,
this
Cam.
is a crucial part of the game now.
Here we go.
Yes.
If they have any hope
Yes,
of getting
Andy.
something out of the game, the goal has to
Luca.
come sooner rather than later. Palace do well to play out of trouble through the skipper, Wells Morrison. Threads one forward to Ola Adebayomi. Toe poked over to Ozo, and they complete the switch over now to Rodney. Oh, and there's a stumble there from Ozo. Spong is first on the scene, looking to Perpion. Can he get there ahead of Adaramola? Adaramola does well in the battle with the Australian.
Corner ball. Good, Cam.
Ball goes out of play for a corner. Great work again from Cam Perpion. He's just been relentless down the right wing all afternoon. Well, certainly in the second half, Brighton going about it in the right way, giving absolutely everything in the opening 9 minutes of this second half. Ball was in towards the front post, doesn't clear the first man, but Spong will have a go at it. It's just over Goodman. Well, flaps at it, Goodman, gets something on it. It's a really good save in the end from Owen Goodman, because that was heading towards the top left corner. In goes the challenge, and then Spong just trying to pick out the top left corner. It's a terrific save in the end from Goodman.
Luca, it's fine.
So the left boot of Spong moves over
Good, Sammy,
to
stay
the
there.
left wing to take this corner. Barrington is a short option, trotting over is Olibamu and Mooney. They don't go short though, cleared away by Gordon. Shane will take aim, but over that goes.
Well done, let's go.
Well, a flurry of chances though for
Stay
the
calm.
Albion in the opening 10 minutes of this second half. Character, spirited, all those words certainly applied to the Seagulls
Stay high,
in
Cam.
their effort
Stay
to
high, Cam.
try and haul themselves back into the game.
Leave it, Spongy. Let Andy do
In
it.
all likelihood, the game was done and dusted at half-time, but
Yes,
there is
Andy.
still 35 minutes of this one to go. Stranger things have
Go,
happened.
Andy.
Will take an almighty comeback for Shannon Root's side. Good work there from Goodman to get the ball out of his feet before he clears. Referee lets play go on. Perpion with good hold-up play once more. The offload from Shane almost found its way to Perpion, but Palace do eventually get it back with Ozo. Wells Morrison.
Yes, Luca, drop.
You can see how high the attacking players are though still.
Inside him. Keep going.
And this is where it then becomes tricky if they stay that high. They have to
Down,
bust
open
the
it up.
gut to get back.
Good.
That one's clipped in
Good,
towards
that's it.
Ola
Sammy,
Adebayomi,
stay.
but it's easy for ball to collect. This is Shane now with space to move into.
Take the space, go. Spin, spin.
Roll back from Perpion in hope rather than expectation, but he did well initially just to keep the ball in play. This is the goal scorer, Bulmer. Now Rodney's first touch is to get it out of his feet and then drive on.
Down,
Mooney.
too narrow. Yeah, that's it up there.
Ozo, who's slotted in really well for the absent Killian Phillips, who's gone on loan to Shrewsbury Town earlier in the week.
Yes, yes, yes. And we go. Tight, Sammy. Tight, Sammy. Okay, go tight. Good.
Adaramola.
Good, good, good. Yes, Andy. Good, down.
Great work in there.
Good.
Excellent tackle from Adela Fire. And that's just freed up a bit of space for Shane. They are stretching Palace at times. This is where they need to just stay switched on. Sure, the message at half-time will have been cannot concede under any circumstances if we want to get anything out of this game from Messrs Ruth and Dicker. Moran with the switch over to Perpion. Look at all of this space for Perpion. Head down towards the area he goes. Still going Perpion. On his weaker foot. Ah, splendid save that from Goodman. Couple of really important stops from him in the last few minutes. That's probably the pick of the bunch, though. Excellent progress on this near side from Perpion once again. He's got lots of space, but he's still got to get the better of Adaramola, which he does. Checks onto his right foot. And then the save to his right is magnificent from Owen Goodman. Ball in towards the back post. It beats everyone and straight out for another goal kick. The right idea, though, they're just looking for the in-swinger. Get a bit of assistance from that wind blowing in that direction. From a Palace point of view, they'll just be thinking we're approaching the hour mark now. How long before the Brighton attack just starts to run out of steam?
Yes, Sammy, yes. Go on, Cam. Go on, Andy. Good.
No signs of it running out of steam anytime soon, though. This time it's Samuels over on the left who does well just to get there ahead of his man. Turns looking forward. Back it goes to Luca Barrington over on that far side. Spong in amongst it as well. Samuels couldn't keep hold of it, though. And now Crystal Palace go in search of their fourth. Olibamu, edge of the area. Ozo was to the right of him. Good work from Shishane defensively. And then again it's good from the Parisian, just nodding it forward, gaining some yards and a chance then for the Seagulls to try and just box in their opponents and rivals from South London.
Keep going inside, Cam. Go on. Go on, Cam. Go on, keep going.
Rodney under pressure. No, he can't keep it in, so Brighton throw as we enter the final half hour. Ball side-footed forward to Moran. Right idea. Moran can't keep hold of it, though, and almost in there was Gordon. Just ahead of him, so Bull happy to grab that one and then just leave it now for Sungi. Delafire, just for a moment there, was looking like he was out of ideas, but just at the right moment was able to find an outlet back to his keeper. Bulmer infield to Goodman. You can hear the cries of Gary Dicker just to go on Andy and try and put the pressure on Goodman in the Palace goal. Adaramola now, given the freedom of the inside channels here, drifting from left to right. Now Mooney can take over. Ola Adabomi has made the run, but Imari Samuel stepped in there adeptly. Barrington via Shishane to Spong. Now Perpion. Looking to drive at Adaramola once more, perhaps. Shishane looking for the runner, Perpion. Is he asking just a bit too much there? Oh no, it's incredible from Cam Perpion. Does win the corner. Adaramola not too happy with that one. He's just not really been able to deal with Perpion, me included. Thought that was going to head out for the goal kick, but he didn't give up on it. So the latest set-piece opportunity for the Seagulls to try and grab one back. Delivery's a good one, it's gone all the way in! Jack Spong very much using the wind to his advantage. And they have reduced their arrears. Perhaps the magic comeback is still on. Goodman had no chance. Clever from Jack Spong. That'll probably go under the category of cross-come shot. But he knew what he was doing with the wind. And if it didn't go in, the first priority was just to try and get somebody else to get ahead on it proved some chaos. It did more than that. Straight in. Game on.
Yes, Cam, go on, son. Pass, dribble. Go wide.
Grian does well to knock that one into Cam Perpion.
Andy, Andy, tight inside the half. Andy, tight. Come on, Andy. Yes, Luca, stay. Yes, that's good. Good.
Good challenge there from the captain, Spong.
Good boy.
Very committed, very clean as well though. No foul, and Barrington can move over to the left, looking for the run of Samuels. Important interception there from Rodney, but Turns able to wander over to the left flank and help out. Spong's got Shashane inside of him, who picks it up now. Decent urgency about Brighton's game now. Perpion looking for the return ball from afar, does latch onto it, ahead of Adaramola. Can he find a second for the Seagulls? Taking over there was Moran. Clearance was as far away as Omilabu. Now Ozo. Turned into an excellent game in this second half.
Good, Andy, stay, Andy. Keep going, Cam, inside.
So the Seagulls do get back into the shape. That's what's been just as impressive as being able to keep pressing with the 10 men, is how quickly they get back into a shape defensively, because Ola Adabomi has been more than a handful. As we see Turns do well though to stride forward from them. Was looking for Perpion again. Dangerous on a number of occasions on this near side Shannon Ruth's team. Just under 25 of the 90 remaining. This is Rodney. Caden Rodney back to the skipper. Comes back to him via Ozo. Gordon now. Palace perhaps just trying to wear down Brighton. Hove Albion just try and keep the ball. Get the Seagulls doing the running. Jack Spong does just about enough to find a way over to Imari Samuels. Back it goes over to Samuels, the substitute. Lose out up against Mooney, but it will be a Brighton throw-in. Ball under pressure, does find a ball to Spong. Really good first time layoff from the skipper. A few occasions where it just put a bit too much on those kind of offloads in the first half, Jack Spong, but certainly sorted that in this second half. And here he is once again, just helping out over on that left flank. Barrington will get there. Making the run inside of him is Moran. Can he find him? Stooping over was Bulmer to nod it out for another throw. Just starting to find the runs. And there will be a substitute to break up the Albion's momentum. Chance for Victor Akinwale. And he's going to come on to replace Fionn Mooney for the remaining 20 minutes. So back underway with Samuels after the throw-in. Moran throwing himself around again to keep hold of the ball. Gets it again from his skipper, and that's a really good turn away from trouble. Still loads of red and blue shirts around him. Seagulls doing well just to hang on to it. They may go one better here. This is Shashane. Checks in field, edge of the area. Back to goal now is Moran. Spong first time with the ball out to Perpion. Pinpoint. Lovely stuff. This is a fire. Can he get there? Well, I think the Fire probably knew he didn't get any of the ball there, and instead the man, so he just trudges back to his defensive position. Palace free kick.
Just said he got there second. He's got there second. He's going for the ball, nothing more than that. Cheers, Alex.
And so that gives us time then just to
Good, Sammy. Good.
look to what we've got coming up for the various Brighton Hove Albion sides over the next week or so.
So just stay on for me, please, guys. Can we bring the water?
Next weekend,
Stay on, please, players. Thank you.
Shannon Ruth's side in the PL2 will travel to Manchester City. That's a 2 o'clock kickoff next Saturday. And just an hour later than the PL2 side, Liverpool are the visitors to the Amex. We'll also then see the first WSL action for Jens Schuur's side against Leicester. They travel to. And then the FA Youth Cup a week on Tuesday as well. That's also against away at Man City. And Christmas may well be gone, but you can go and get yourself a bargain at BrightonHoveAlbion.com as well. Still plenty of good stuff to look out for there.
Stay high. High, Andy. Free kick, stay high.
Luca,
Free kick from where the ball is. Stay high.
are we talking
Cam, higher.
So Goodman back on his feet, hobbling a bit more though, and he will
Sammy, up.
make sure he takes as long as he needs. No need to rush it from his point of view.
That's it up. That's all right. That's all right. Yes, Andy. High,
Short they
Sammy.
go. Played forward by Brian.
Good, forward, forward.
Really neat touch that to bring under his spell from Sungi. And then Samuels was trying to unleash Barrington over on that far side, but
You can jump
a lot of zip on that one, so
Cam.
back into Palace possession.
Keep it there, Andy.
Again, Palace just trying to tempt out Brighton by, as they stay deep, waiting perhaps for a Palace error. This is the imposing Ozo. Does well to find Adaramola at first, and then Gordon just nips it off the fire for the throw.
Good, Sammy.
This is Akinwale, but beaten to it by Shashane. Spong went in there, but the free infringement had already been committed from Crystal Palace. Turns, just trying to invite forward Akinwale to open up the space, but they may live to regret it. On the hat-trick, off the deflection off the post, and there's Crystal Palace's fourth. And that really should be game over now against the 10 men of Albion. Well, don't take anything away from the Brighton's efforts. The Seagulls' efforts in this second half. They've put in a huge shift, and there was always going to be a risk at the other end to concede. And it's David Ozo, who's probably deserved a goal. He's marshalled that midfield for Paddy McCarthy's side incredibly well. That's quite unfortunate from the Albion's point of view. Deflection on it. Granted, the deflection could have gone in, but it falls straight to David Ozo with the easiest of finishes. So Brighton Hove Albion 1, Crystal Palace 4 if you're just joining us. The Seagulls had found a goal back in this second half. They were 3-0 down at half-time. James Beadle sent off 12 minutes in. Straight red it was for the challenge on Ola Adabomi. Always makes things a lot trickier. But this second half, up until that Crystal Palace fourth. They've shown what they're all about, the Seagulls. Never say die attitude. Show more of that again from Jack Spong, moving out to the right wing. Doesn't win the throw-in, but his teammates appreciate the efforts.
Stay in front, Sammy. Sammy, stay in front. Stay in front. Good. Don't foul. Don't foul.
Great strength and shielding there from Ola Adebayomi. Advantage played there. This is Akinwale. Turns does well to step in and win the free kick.
Settle. Toby, settle.
Spong back to Bull again. Had the hallmarks of the effort where he sent it back to Toby Bull in the first half with almost too much on it. Bull having to slide across to prevent the own goal. That time the accuracy was there to Toby Bull, even though it was fizzed into his feet by the Brighton skipper. So a little over a quarter of an hour to go. This result will take Palace up to second in the PL2. As for the Albion, they will remain 8th as it stands.
Good point. Excellent, good. Hey, that's enough, Cam. Stand still. Yes, Sammy. Hey, Sammy. Go on, Cam. Go on, Cam.
Doesn't get any easier for Shannon Ruth and Gary Dicker with that trip
Go on, Andy.
away to Man City next weekend.
Go on, Andy. Play.
Man City currently topping the PL2.
Make the box, Cam. Cam.
Spong was looking perhaps there for Cam Perpion.
Go on, Adele.
Just a
Go
bit
on, Adele.
behind play,
Good.
but Fire's joined in to good effect. Now Perpion wins it back. Shushane back over to a Fire.
Go on, Adele.
Just shoved off it there by Gordon.
Good, Sammy.
Gordon has done well for the visitors on Crystal Palace's left, but he's just starting to look a little bit leggy, so it wouldn't surprise me if
Stretch it, Cam.
there's
Don't
another
easy
Palace
there, Cam.
substitution
Stretch
coming
it
up
in.
shortly.
Man on.
Shushane will pick up this one. Strong challenge coming in from the scorer of Palace's fourth. Shushane takes it
Get in the
quickly.
box, Adam.
Barrington helps it over to Perpion. He certainly deserves a goal today. Instead, it's Barrington over to Spong.
Get in the box.
Important clearance away. Over to a Fire. Another good shy at goal there from Spong, and then Perpion doesn't get the back heel right. Sungi's pressed on to make sure he sticks to Ola Adebayomi.
Brilliant, you. Clean up, clean up.
And Brighton do win it back.
Stay in the half, come on. Come! Come! Good, get out
This is
of the
Samuels with the switch now. Again looking to latch on to Perpion. Palace player is down, but they play on here, the Seagulls. Can they find a Seagulls? Moran is down! Well, cry of... half-hearted cries of a penalty there. Well, first of all, a bit of controversy with the Palace player down. Perpion was just urged to play on. The switch of play is very good from Imari Samuels. Perpion just cracks on, and the ball in towards Moran. Following up there was Barrington. Really important block. Marcus Ifield's going to come on for the last 13 minutes or so.
Good, well done. Good,
That means
Luca.
Luca Barrington can just rest up for the final 30 minutes, get ready to return to his old side next Saturday. Barrington signed from Manchester City last summer, just a matter of weeks after signing a new deal. But a chance for Marcus Ifield to get off the mark for the under-21s in the PL2. Played a slightly different role in the Derby defeat. He was the out-and-out striker. just the one up top. Normally likes to plays in the either flank, either channel.
You guys are telling him now, so I don't have to. It's great.
Back underway. Spong sends it in towards Perpion. Fire decides just to nod that towards Perpion again. Goes down and stays down. I don't think there'll be too much sympathy from a Palace point of view. Decibel levels starting to go up from a few of the players as they appeal. Perpion has stayed down, so now he can receive some treatment. Well, he's clutching his face. I need to see that one again. Didn't seem like there was too much in it. When a player hanging onto their head, you just need to take all the concussion protocols. We see it here again, so it was just nodded up by a fire. It just looks as though Perpion's face just goes into the chest of the Palace defender. Maybe just overstretched his neck a little bit, but does seem to be okay now. Understandably moving a little bit slower as this game has gone on, but only in the last 5 minutes or so. Other than that, it's been one hell of a shift from Cam Perpion.
Yes, Cam, get ready. Air ball, Amari. Air ball.
Bit of confusion there from Samuels. Thought as though it was a Crystal Palace ball. Moran wins another free kick, and this could be a booking here for the Palace centre half. Just a talk. Just a talking to for the Northern Irish International.
Yes, higher. Andy, higher. Marcus. Stay there, Marcus. Stand
And
still.
now the game starting to simmer down as Palace probably want it to. Just want to get through the last 10 minutes without any more injuries.
Stand in front, down 71. Good.
Can the Seagulls just nick one or two more consolations? I mean, if they can nick two, it'll be more than a consolation, because they'll feel like they can go on to get something out of it. But with the man disadvantage, much more tricky as Adaramola plays it forward to Ozo. Team up on Ozo though, Sami Shashane and Perpion.
Stay calm, stand still. Marcus in between a bit. Good, calm, excellent, son. Andy, lock on. Marcus. Keep going. There, that's all right. Stay inside. Good, Sammy. Good, Sammy.
Adaramola with the ball forward, trying to find the path of Gordon. Sungi saw to it that he couldn't, at the expense of a throw. And Adaramola, who has at times been beaten to it by Cam Perpion, but certainly not been a pushover. The Ireland under 21. A few familiar faces for him this afternoon, the likes of James Furlong. I'm sure he'll have been involved with in the Irish youth setup before. Certainly will Andy Moran, fellow Ireland under 21. Spong just knocks it over his head, looking for Moran.
Go on, Marcus. Go
Good
on,
work
Marcus.
though again from Bulmer.
Go on, Cam. Go on, Cam.
Shields
Go on,
that away
Cam.
from Moran once more.
Good, Cam. Excellent, Andy.
Graham can't find
Go.
Adaramola on that occasion though. Perpion
Win it. Go
almost turned away from all three players, then stepping in
Good.
and stepping on that clearance to Shushane. He's
Good.
impressed since coming on at half time,
Oh, sorry.
but then just passes it straight back to
Good.
the Palace defence.
How is that a booking and the other one isn't? Oh.
And the yellow card is out here for Ansef Sungi. That has been a great battle though, specifically between him. Turns has been the left centre back and Sungi right, and it's meant that Sungi has been up against Ola Adabomi the most. And you can see when Ola Adabomi's dropped deep, Sungi stayed with him. Proper man-to-man marking, and that's always the risk, but there goes Sungi again. This time straight into the substitute, and then a thunderous challenge in there from Ed Turns on Ola Adabomi, who once again has stayed down, and immediately medical staff called for. Well, more than a hint of frustration in that challenge from Sungi. It was given away initially by Ansef Sungi, and then in an effort to win it back, Palace players unhappy because they feel as though there was just a little bit of extra intent there from Turns to potentially do a bit of damage. And so James Durkin does want a word with Wales under-21 captain. And despite trying to talk his way out of it, that will be a yellow card for Ed Turns.
Appreciate that. The way that it's gone in seems like it could be quite reckless. You've heard the contact between the players. Just because he wins the ball doesn't mean it can't be fouled. Granted.
And the fourth official, Daniel Durso, just explaining to the Brighton dugout as to why exactly it was a yellow card. You could hear the thud as Turns went into challenge. Hard to really make out the connection if there are any studs on the ankle of the Palace player, but it's a yellow card for Turns and a chance for Palace to add a little bit more gloss onto the scoreline. And add a bit of salt into the wound from a Brighton point of view. Plenty of candidates up for this, but the inquest still continues after the Turns tackle.
He's still on the pitch, Derek. He's still on the pitch. Derek, he's still on the pitch. He's got to come off the pitch. He's got thinking for too long. He's got to come off the pitch for now. Come! Come!
Yeah, that's what he's just said. The caution wasn't.
So we couldn't have played on there because the man who suffered the challenge, Ola Adabomi, was still on the pitch there, so he needs to wait before he can enter the field of play again. Now then, back to the free kick. The skipper looking one of the favourites. Ozo is nearby as well. Wells Morrison leaves it, played out over to Gordon. Gordon looking for the bottom right corner. I think it's Eiffel there back defending. And then just hammered clear towards Palace territory.
Brilliant, son. Catch up, Marcus. Good. Excellent,
Green able to watch that back to Goodman, who'll just watch it as close to the byline as possible and eat up a few more seconds.
Stay up. Go on, Andy. You can go when he drops it.
And so unfortunately, a couple of unbeaten runs come to an end. One before Christmas and one today in the league for Shannon Ruth's side. They've got all the capability to go on and start another one very soon, as O'Fire looks to just drive forward there. Yellow card was for Ozo.
stay in if he's wide.
Chance for Moran. He deserves a goal as well. Got stuck in on more than one occasion, and Perpion definitely deserves a goal, and he has got one. Plugged away all afternoon on the right wing. Been a menace up against Adaramola, and he gets what he deserved. Moran it was with the assist. Said he deserves a goal, he deserves an assist, and the finish from Perpion is emphatic. So they do get a consolation. With just under 90 seconds of the 90 minutes remaining.
Go on, Marcus! Go on, Cam! Over, Antef, over! Yes, Adele, get to the ball!
Gordon now. Into the area he goes. Just looking to hang it up to the back post. Eiffel is able to stab that one forward towards Samuels. Moran once again just bundled off the ball there by Sean Green. And it'll also be a yellow card for the Palace centre-back, so a flurry of yellow cards as we head towards the final 30 seconds of this one before we have the added on time.
Go on, Sammy, run him off. Adele, stay there. Don't walk onto him. Don't walk onto him. Go on, jump from that.
Shushane now.
Go on, Andy. Go on, Cal.
Just trying to get away from the red and blue shirts on that left side. Few too many of them around him. Able to start again after a wall pass back into Goodman.
Yes, stay there, Cal. Go on, Andy. Higher, Marcus. Yes, Andy. Tight, Adele. Tight, Adele. Come on. Good. Tight. Yes, Bobby. Good.
Kutsungi there again, sticking to his task up against Ola Adabomi. Tracked him all the way into the Palace half. Haven't been able to contain him all afternoon. Quick fire brace in the first half for Ola Adabomi. As we move towards the first of 7 minutes added on.
Stay over, Spongy, Cam, in Cam, more Cam.
Well, the belief in the Seagulls camp has been excellent. They've kept going all evening. Even now, you can probably hear Gary Dicker quite often, still just asking all of his players to push on whenever the Palace defenders have it. Still believes that there's enough time to get something out of this one. That then does translate to the players. But truth of it is, it would be a monumental comeback now if they're able to do it in the remaining 5 minutes of added on time. Monumental as the likes of Wells Morrison and David Ozo now stepping in to try to slow it down, but he's maybe trying to go one better, looking for his second of the afternoon. Excellently timed challenge from Afire on the slide. And the game stretching a little bit with some stretched legs. Perpion still full tilt there, trying to get back defensively. Sliding in again was Samuels this time. Moran dropping deep, wins the free kick.
Go on! Brilliant, Andy. Cam, well done, you too. Adele, good. Bongy, good boy. Brilliant, you.
Easy enough there for Bulmer to deal with.
Yes, go, Marcus! Go on, Cam. Go on, Marcus,
again, the cries go from the Brighton dugout,
yes, Sammy,
just to try and cramp the Palace defenders of any time and space where possible.
There we go! Come on!
Marcus Eiffel getting involved as well, just trying to close down the Palace rearguard. Samuel's unable to keep that one. A little bit of an unforced error from Shishane, which is a shame as they hang on to it there. Still would have had a bit of momentum as they look for their third of the afternoon. As it is, Palace can just roll it back now to Owen Goodman.
Stay calm, you're all right, son. Go on, Andy. Good. Good, go on, son.
Flick on is from Ola Adebayomi.
Yes, good. Good,
Gordon
you two.
racing there with a fire. Now Sungi takes over as a fire hits the deck. Good strength here from Gordon. Goes down, and it will be a Palace penalty. Sungi can't believe it. But the referee, James Durkin, was quick to point to the spot and inflict a little bit more misery perhaps on Shannon Ruth's side. And Durkin was quite close by to see that one. Not too many complaints. Looks away with a grimace. Sungi knew what he did. It was great work from Gordon. Said earlier, thought he might go off, but he has not also thrown in the towel. From an attacking point of view, just wanting to get more and more for his side. And so there'll be a chance now for Omelabu to get in on the act for the Eagles. But he's spread it wide. Well, ball had gone the wrong way. But for Omelabu, it was the wrong side of the post. And the scoreline remains Brighton 2, Crystal Palace 4. Did strike it well enough, but missing the accuracy. This is Eiffel getting to the byline. Can they find another late on? They do win a corner, which Perpion is in a hurry to take.
Go on, Adele. Good boy, Adele. Come up. Good, Andy. Lock the back, Andy.
Perpion. Delivery isn't too bad into Spong. Looked to hit it first time on the half volley. Few half-hearted appeals for a penalty perhaps there.
Yes, Sandy.
Nothing doing, so it's a throw-in on this near side. Moran going all the way to the final whistle. Another corner for the Albion. Can they nick another here with just over a minute at least to be played?
Tight, Sammy.
In towards the front post, off a Palace man. Backtracking now is Perpion. Leaves it for Samuels to spread it out wide again to Spong. Offside flag has stayed down. Shishane first time.
Hey.
In towards Ola Adebayomi. And Shishane gives away the free kick as he just wrestles down the Palace striker. A puff of the cheeks from the Palace striker, who's been dragged down on a few occasions, but he'll still be happy enough with the 3 points that Palace take back up to South London this afternoon.
Good, Andy, well done. Marcus. Good boy. This side, Ed. Come over, Ed. Ed, over. See ya. Good boy.
Turns, flicks it back to Toby Ball. Very assured. High tariff skill that, but he made it look easy. Moran with the flick on. Over to Eiffel. What can he conjure up here up against Rodney? Inside of him is Samuel, still going. Was looking for Shishane. Spong will hit it first time and straight at Owen Goodman. And that could well be the last action of the afternoon. Indeed it is. It was a decent enough hit from Spong. Good break down the left. But it's not enough to prevent Palace from taking all 3 points back up to South London. The afternoon got off to the worst start possible. James Beadle shown a straight red card for his challenge on Ola Adebayomi. Palace number 9 then finding 2 quick fire goals after Kofi Balmer opened the scoring just after the half-hour mark. Spong was able to get one back just after the hour mark, but Ozo sealed it to make it 4-1. Perpion at the death, making it here at Lancing. Albion 2, Palace